Let's just dive right into the madness. Guys, I genuinely did not see this coming. I have to be honest, I am still sitting here with my heart pounding completely out of my chest, entirely unable to process what we just witnessed on our screens. The moment I saw Carly and Lucas standing outside the imposing, shadowy gates of Windermere, completely alone in the dead of night, I knew something was horribly, terribly wrong. I wasn't ready for that. We all knew Jocelyn was in grave danger. We all knew the clock was ticking down to a disaster, but that changed everything. My stomach instantly dropped into my shoes. I was literally screaming at the television, begging them to turn around, begging them to pick up a phone and call Sunny, or Valentine, or even the police. But no, they went in. They actually went in. And the sheer, unadulterated panic I felt watching them cross that threshold is something I haven't experienced as a fan in a very, very long time. I keep thinking about the sheer audacity of this writing. It is one thing to have a daring, action packed rescue mission, but it is an entirely different beast to watch two beloved characters walk willingly into a slaughterhouse without a single backup plan. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. I was physically tense, my hands gripping the edge of my desk, just waiting for the other shoe to drop. You know that feeling when you are watching a horror movie and the protagonist decides to investigate the dark, creepy basement instead of running out the front door? That was exactly what this felt like, but magnified by 1,000 because we have loved these characters for decades. We know what is at stake. We know the absolute monsters who are waiting for them in the shadows of that cursed island. To understand why this hit so hard, we have to look at the psychology of what is happening here. I completely understand Carly's desperation. As a mother, the thought of her daughter Jocelyn being held captive by a rogue, dirty WSB agent like Ross Cullum and an absolute psychopath like Cassius Faison masquerading as Nathan West, it is enough to drive anyone to the brink of insanity. Carly's maternal instincts completely overrode her logic. She truly believed that the element of surprise was their only weapon. She convinced herself that bringing in Sunny's mob muscle or Valentine's tactical expertise would only trigger a massive bloodbath or force Cullum to make Jocelyn disappear permanently. But seeing her rely purely on recklessness rather than strategy, it broke my heart because we all knew deep down it was a fatal miscalculation. And then there is Lucas. Oh, Lucas. The brilliant, tragic irony of his involvement is what makes this storyline so devastatingly effective. Lucas knows Windermere. He spent a significant part of his childhood navigating those drafty halls, exploring the secret passages, and memorizing the hidden tunnels that snake beneath the estate. He was supposed to be the ultimate guide, the secret weapon that could effortlessly bypass Cullum's high-tech security perimeter. But the very thing that was supposed to save them, his intimate familiarity with the mansion, became the exact trap that sealed their fate. The nostalgia of seeing Lucas navigate those old stone corridors quickly morphed into pure, suffocating dread. The walls literally felt like they were closing in on him. But the moment that truly sent chills down my spine, the moment I realized we were crossing the point of no return, was when Cassius realized Lucas was in the house. Guys, the look on Cassius's face, I will never forget it. This wasn't just a guard catching an intruder. This was a predator spotting his ultimate prey. Cassius, still wearing that sickening mask of Nathan West, has a deeply personal, venomous vendetta against Lucas. We know Lucas holds the keys to exposing Cassius's entire fraudulent identity. Lucas knows the deep, dark secrets that could unravel the entire network Cassius and Cullum have built. And in that terrifying instant, Cassius didn't reach for his radio. He didn't alert Ross Cullum. He didn't call for WSB backup. He went completely, utterly dark. He went rogue. Cassius took this infiltration not as a threat to their operation, but as a divine opportunity to eliminate the one thorn in his side that could destroy his life. The shift in tone was absolute whiplash. Suddenly, this wasn't a rescue mission anymore. It was a lethal game of cat and mouse in the pitch-black, claustrophobic secret tunnels of Windermere. Cassius actively hunted Lucas. He weaponized the darkness. He turned those familiar childhood hideouts into a labyrinth of death. I was holding my breath as Cassius stalked through the corridors, his footsteps echoing, his intentions completely murderous. He wasn't given an order to kill Lucas. In fact, doing so would likely enrage Cullum and ruin their strategic leverage. But Cassius didn't care. The kill order was written in his own twisted mind. I have to admit, I love this storyline for its sheer cinematic brilliance. The atmosphere, the lighting, the psychological warfare, it is soap opera perfection. The way the writers have transformed Windermere back into this gothic house of horrors is just spectacular. It feels dangerous. It feels like the stakes have never been higher. Watching Cassius shed the last remaining fragments of his Nathan persona to reveal the cold-blooded monster beneath is incredibly compelling television. It is the kind of edge-of-your-seat drama that reminds me exactly why I have dedicated so much of my life to watching this show. The adrenaline rush is absolutely undeniable. But, and this is a massive but, something still bothers me to my core. I am so incredibly frustrated with the sheer stupidity of Carly's choices. I love her, you guys know I do, but I cannot defend this. How do you walk into a heavily guarded fortress without telling a single soul where you are going? If you don't want Sunny's mob army, fine. If you don't want Valentine's interference, fine. But to not even leave a breadcrumb trail, to drag Lucas, sweet, vulnerable Lucas, into a literal death trap based on nothing but a prayer and a flashlight. It borders on character assassination. Carly has survived too many hostage situations, too many mob wars, and too many maniacs to be this naive. It makes me want to pull my hair out. I understand why she felt she had to act alone. The fear of Cullum executing Jocelyn if a full-scale assault happened is a valid, paralyzing fear. I get that. I really do. I still think that was a colossal mistake. Maybe I'm being unfair, but Carly's hubris here is staggering. She thought her sheer willpower could overcome trained, ruthless operatives who have already proven they will stop at nothing. She gambled not just with her own life, but with Lucas's life, and she lost spectacularly. When she was struck from behind and knocked unconscious in the middle of that chaos, part of me was terrified for her, but another part of me thought, well, what did you expect was going to happen? You cannot out-stubborn a bullet, Carly. And my heart just bleeds for Lucas. He was so brave, so willing to put himself in the line of fire to save Jocelyn, relying on memories of a place that has always been a beacon of tragedy for his family. He didn't deserve to be hunted like an animal in the dark. As for Cassius, there are no words left to describe my absolute disgust for him. He has crossed a line from which there is no return. Using the chaos to settle a personal score, being willing to murder Lucas in cold blood just to protect his own lies, it proves he is every bit the monster his father, Caesar Faison, was. He is a rabid dog off his leash, and he needs to be put down. The visual of Carly waking up, disoriented, her head bleeding, only to find herself locked inside that cold, damp dungeon cell. It was an absolute gut punch. And then the camera pans, and we see Jocelyn, and then we see Liesel Obrecht. The three of them trapped together in the bowels of Windermere. It was the exact nightmare scenario we had all been dreading. The rescue mission didn't just fail, it catastrophically backfired. Instead of saving Jocelyn, Carly just handed Cullum another high-value hostage. She gave them exactly what they needed to secure their escape. The sheer despair in that cell is going to haunt my dreams for weeks. This brings me to the absolute war raging inside my head right now. Part of me wants to believe that Sunny or Valentine will realize something is wrong immediately. I want to believe that someone will kick the doors of Windermere off their hinges tomorrow and rain absolute hellfire on Cullum and Cassius. I want the swift, satisfying vengeance that we are so used to getting. I want to see Cassius beg for mercy when Sunny finds out what he tried to do to Lucas. I want the immediate gratification of our heroes being saved and the villains being punished. Another part of me thinks that a quick rescue would completely cheapen the magnitude of what just happened. I honestly can't decide what I want. If they are rescued tomorrow, then Carly's reckless mistake has no real consequences. The dark, twisted part of my fan brain wants to see this play out. I want to see Cassius and Cullum use this absolute chaos to their advantage. The idea that they might actually succeed in fleeing Port Charles, taking Liesl, Carly, and Jocelyn with them as living assets, it is terrifying, but it is also brilliant storytelling. It turns Windermere from just a location into a black hole that swallows our favorite characters whole. It leaves us with an open wound, a storyline that refuses to be neatly tied up in a bow. The thought of a failed rescue mission leading to an international manhunt, a dangerous new pursuit across the globe, is exactly the kind of epic, sweeping drama General Hospital was built on. But the emotional toll it takes on us as viewers is exhausting. I am sitting here trembling with adrenaline, angry at the characters I love, terrified of the villains I hate, and completely at the mercy of whatever the writers decide to do next. It is a beautiful, agonizing mess, and I am entirely captivated by it. Am I the only one feeling this way? I can't help feeling that we are standing on the precipice of one of the darkest eras in this show's history. Guys, what do you think? Was Carly justified in her desperation, or was this the most foolish thing she has ever done? Do you think Lucas is going to make it out of those tunnels alive now that Cassius is hunting him with intent to kill? And most importantly, are Cullum and Cassius actually going to get away with this? Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like we are about to lose some of our favorite characters for a very, very long time. Let me know down in the comments, because I desperately need to know. I am not losing my mind over this episode.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.